Before HTML, you have to type something like this. Type HTML. This this signifies that your document is an HTML5 document. Okay. So today what we are going to do is I looked it up on the internet because I couldn't remember that file. Today what we are going to do is we are going to create a menu for our web page, just like this. You can see the menu. So we are going to create a menu for our web page. So how do we, in the previous class, I had taught you how to create internal linking. So we had seen this. I hope you might have done this at home. So we had learned about external linking, internal linking both. And today what we are going to do is we will try to apply some CSS on our web page to make it look like this. Okay. This is the web page which we are currently working on. So we will try to make our web page look like this. And before that, we will be entering what? We will be inserting a menu in our document like this. So we come back to our My City Bhopal web page, and I would like to create a menu just above this heading. Okay. So for this, I'll go to my code. This is the code which I am using. And right before the H1 tag, that is right before this font tag, which refers to the H1 tag, I'm going to create a menu over here. This menu will represent what? It will represent my menu bar. Now, which all things should I have on my menu? These are the things: hotels and resorts, travel agencies, things to do, nearby attractions. Okay, so let's start. So we will first create a menu over here. You don't need to give any caption over here, right? So, and a UL tag, and I'm going to give it a special ID, that is menu, because I will be using a lot of CSS to format it properly. And here LI, hotels and resort. Prathamesh, please mute yourself. Don't unmute. Hmm. I close. Second one was travel agencies. The third one was two. And the last one was nearby attractions. So right now when I view this on the web page, I would get something like this. A simple list. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to remove these bullet styles from here. And I also need to bring all these into one single line. So for this, I will have to use the style tag. So please watch it carefully. We would be doing some hit and trial also. Now here I'll start with hashtag menu, and within that hashtag menu, I'm going to type text decoration none. List style type none. Let us check it. Yes, so you can see that I'm going to just increase the, okay, I'll increase the font size through the font properties. So right now, I hope everybody can see that the bullet style has gone from here, right? Now, I have to type something like this, hashtag hashtag menu, then give a small arrow that is a greater than sign. And within this, I'm going to apply the properties on individual list items. So on this, so this is going to be a little typical, students, please bear with me, right? Float left. To this, you can see all of them come to a single line over here. Float left. Now I need to give some margin left, as I'll be giving it as 3M. Now what is M? Let me explain this to you. M stands for the space required by one capital M. Okay, that is the width required by one capital M. So when I say 3M, it means a total of 3M spaces. Total of spaces required by M placed 3 times. Understood? So M space I will be giving as 3M. Okay. So now you can see that there is a space of 3M in between all the menu items. Now I need to increase the font of the menu items. So I will write font size as, say, 16 points. You can see it has increased. Okay, now this City of Lakes is causing some problems. So what I'll do is, after this UL tag, I'm going to type a BR tag. So that City of Lakes comes down to the next line. And I can also increase the margin left. I'll do that a little later, because right now I have to increase the width of each item also. Let me give a border. I'm giving a border as 2 pixels, solid yellow. You can see the border on this. If I just change the color and make it as blue, you will be able to see the border. Now the border is like, it is just sticking to the edges of the text. I don't want that. I want a fixed. First of all, I need to set a fixed width for each of them. That is, I want to give it a width in this way. It should be like this. Every menu item should have a fixed width. Look very crooked over here. I want a fixed width for each of the menu items, right? So for this, I will be using width as, say, for example, I'm going to give it as maybe 100 pixels. And let me just check it. Okay, 100 pixels is less, so I need to increase this to 200 pixels. This is 200 pixels, and I think I can also add 50 more pixels to it. So now it is like this, it's covering the entire page. But now you can see that the text is aligned towards the left hand side. So I need to align the text where? Towards the center. So text dash align, and I will be giving the value center. So now the text is aligned towards the center. Okay, and I will be giving some extra space also, that is using padding. An extra space of 5 pixels added from both the sides. Okay, now you might be wondering that this side is already very wide. That is firstly because I have already specified a width, a maximum width for all these menu items, and on top of that I added 5 pixels. So that's why this area would look a little wider as compared to the vertical areas. Okay, I will also give font weight as bold. Okay, I hope everybody has understood at least this much. Students, I'll have to mute this mic for 30 seconds because a mixer is going to start, so it would cause disturbance. Okay, I don't think it's much of a disturbance. Fine. I think you can easily hear it. Are you able to understand each of the effects which we are applying on this? So far, whatever we have done. Is this much clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Created a menu, and now what we need to give is a background color to each of them. So I will give background dash color, and maybe I can give a yellow color. Would look very bad, but just for the sake of understanding things, we are giving a yellow color over here. There is another thing which we can use for background color, that is, can give background image as linear gradient, and within this I can use a total of 3 different colors. So you'll learn this today. I'm going to open the resources folder and 500 plus named color codes, and let us choose some nice colors from here. Okay, I will choose orchid, the hexadecimal code for orchid, and this goes as my first color, then my second color as orchid 3. It accepts linear gradient, accepts a total of 3 colors, and orchid 4 as my third color. This is it, and now let's view it on the browser. Now you can see how it appears. So you get a kind of a 3D effect on your buttons. And now I'll try to remove the border from there because the border is not looking good. So I have removed the border, and we will just press F5 and we can see it's like this. Okay, if you want, you can keep the border. I'm keeping the border right now because already you should know how to work on it. So we have the border over here. You can change the border color if you want. So this is how I have just created the menu right now. Now what do I need is this hover style. Whenever I place my mouse pointer on top of this, it should change color. So for this, I'll have to use a lot of hit and try. Okay, so how to do that? So whenever I change my mouse pointer on it, I have decided that I want that this text should turn white and this linear gradient should get some lighter shade. Okay, that's all I want whenever I place my mouse pointer on top of this. So how to do that? So for this, we again come back to our style tag. And now I'm going to type here hashtag menu, LI, then put a colon after this and type here hover. Hover means placing your mouse pointer, just moving on top of it, not clicking anything. Okay, just moving your mouse pointer. And now what do I need? Firstly, I need the font color. So for that I have color and I will set the color as white. So let's check. You can see whenever I'm placing my mouse pointer on top of this, it is changing color. Is it visible to everyone?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Somebody was asking something.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I got disconnected. So can you just once again explain the linear gradient you just
Yes,
did?
linear gradient. See, along with background image, any image, you just need to use the background image property of CSS. Okay. And instead of giving any image to this, you can create a gradient using any 3 colors. So we have 2 options, linear gradient as well as radial gradient. So if I just change it and make it as radial gradient, you'll be able to see how it changes the colors. Can you see the difference? Radial means colors appearing in the form of concentric circles. Okay, that is, it would be something like this. Central color, then the second color, then the third color. ऐसे आएगा. Whereas linear means first color, second color, and third color. This is the first color, second color, third color. Understood? It appears in this way. And here, first color, second color, third color. So this is radial and this is linear. Coming back to our web page. So I just changed it to radial gradient and it is appearing in this way. That's also not looking bad. It's looking good. You can keep it very simple without changing the background, but we will try changing the background also. So for this, we'll go back to this and we'll copy this background image, radial gradient. And what we are going to do is replace these colors with some lighter shades. So we'll again go back to our page. Why is this appearing over here again and again? Okay, so now I'm going to select some other colors. So let me go to this part, medium orchid. So I'll take medium orchid. This is going to be my first color here. So I'm going to set this color like this. Second is I'll choose some other contrasting color from here. Maybe light steel blue. And somewhere here, I'm going to change that. This is light steel blue. And maybe I'll go to slate gray. Select this. And this is going to be slate gray. Let us now just refresh and see. Very light. Okay, so what I need to do is I'll choose some color which is a little darker. Let me take cornflower blue. And this I will be taking as the last color. You can do a lot of hit and trial with your colors and see which looks good. Still it is very light, so in the center you can just change the colors. So maybe I'll try changing the font color over here and maybe I'll give it a royal blue 4. So the font color I'll change. So I'll go to color and here instead of white I'm going to give it as this. Yes. It's little bit okay. So this is how you can change the color. Now what I need to do is I need to create hyperlinks on this. So for that I will go back to my menu which I had created over here. And the first one, hotels and resorts, it is already there. So what I'm going to do is I will just copy that web page from here. Or did I create? No, I had this Bhojtal. Okay. So what I'll do is right now hotels and resorts, I will copy it already which is created here. And later on I'll tell you. This is hotels and resorts. So I'm going to copy this for the time being. And I'm going to paste it over here. Here I have pasted it. So I get this hotels and resorts. So I come back over here in index.html and here I'm going to enter a href equals hotels and resorts .html, close it and close anchor tag and provide an anchor tag everywhere. Don't give anything. When you as and when you create web pages for them, you can attach them. Okay. So we have done this and let's go back. Now there would be some changes. Now it's not formatting the text in the usual manner. Why? Because the text has been formatted according to A, that is anchor tag. Anchor tag is also there. So we need to apply all these to the anchor tag also. So I'll just click on this And within this li, I'm going to use the anchor tag also. And now I'll come back here. Still I have that. 1 second. Here many a times we get problems in this, so we need to apply this. Firstly, I will use text decoration as none. So this will first of all remove the underline, and now all I need to do is I need to remove this blue color from here. Okay, just a second, students. Here it's always a problem like this. We'll have to do some hit and trial, okay? So please bear with me. Now it's changing color. We will add a color attribute over here and give it a simple color, that is blue. And when I come down over here, this also I'm going to specify the color as blue. Okay. Yes. So now it is working according to my requirements. When I take my mouse pointer on top of this, I'm able to get that. This yellow I can change to something else. Maybe I will change it to royal blue. Paste it as royal blue, and let me just yes, now everybody just look here. See, you need to do some hit and trial over here. What we did first was we applied everything on individual list items. Okay, that was done. Then we applied properties on hover. Then we applied properties again. So this is just a repetition. So I'm going to delete this. We applied properties on individual list items, and within individual list items on anchor tag. This could be a little difficult to understand. So for the time being, you can take the code from me and just integrate it in your web page. Okay. What we are doing actually is, I'll just give you an insight into this. Students, in the menu, you have UL ID equals menu. So this particular menu is referred by this identifier, that is menu. So for that, hashtag menu. Now within this, you have applied things on individual list items. So LI, and within LI, you have again a nested tag, that is anchor tag. It is like this. So within that, we need to apply things on the anchor tag. So hence we have taken it in this way. So if we just check over here, so here you have applied it on simple anchor tag, that is text decoration none. This will remove the underline and set the color as blue. If you want, you can simply set its color as the one which you had set for the original one. We had set it as blue only. Now this one is for the same anchor tag but with the hover property. So hover means whenever you take your mouse pointer, it should change into royal blue. So this royal blue color is provided over here. So whenever I am taking my mouse pointer, it is not only changing the list style, you can see, but it is also changing the color of the anchor tag. Okay. So the anchor tag, the main thing is when you take your mouse pointer on top of it, it should show some different setting, which you can see over here. When you click on hotels and resorts, it will open this web page, that is hotels and resorts. Okay. This could be a little difficult and it's not a part of your syllabus also. It's just an extra thing because see, simple HTML is of no use. You always have to integrate HTML with CSS. Understood? So it is good. It's a good practice if you learn CSS on top of everything else. So I hope this much is clear to everyone. I will send you this file index.html. You can take that and you can use it and you can study it whenever you want and you can apply it on your web page. It would take some time and some practice to get used to this, right? You can start it with a simple one. That is, you can start with simply decorating your menu like this and then slowly you can move over to the next. So I'll just show you everything in a glance. First of all, menu, that is remove the bullet style from there, right? Second is individual list items within menu. Then hover on individual list items. Then individual anchor tag within each list item. Then hover property on individual anchor tag within each list item. So this is how I have maintained it, right? So this is how we need to do this. Now next is, today we are keeping CSS only till here, and now I'm going to switch over to databases, right? Our next chapter which we are going to begin, that is databases. So before we move on to databases, give me a quick feedback. Have you understood this chapter, advanced HTML, properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Right from the beginning in this chapter, we have studied about inserting images, working with tables, row spanning, column spanning, and hyperlinks. Okay. If anything is left, today we saw some CSS also, and we learned how to create a menu also. So HTML and CSS is a very vast topic, students. Okay. It would go beyond the syllabus of your textbook. So right now we will stick to our textbook, and in between I will be uploading some unofficial videos where I will give you insight into how to apply CSS also. So you can learn it from there. Now we are going to begin with our chapter 3, Introduction to MS Access databases. Okay, so we are going to start with this chapter today. Now you are going to work on a software. Note it down somewhere. MS Access. On my system, I have MS Access version 2016. You can use version 2013, version 2010. In your textbook, they have given everything related to version 2010, but you won't find 2016 much different. Look and feel is different, of course, but most of the facilities or most of the features are the same. So this should not be a problem for you all at all. Okay. So this is the software which we are going to learn, and it is a database software. Database. What do you understand by database? And from there comes a word that is data. Can anyone tell me what do you understand by data?
Ma'am, these are fact and figures.
Facts and figures. Yes. Facts and figures which are collected over a period of time and they are saved somewhere. Understood? Facts and figures which are collected over time. Have you ever wondered the daily attendance which you get posted on the WhatsApp group? Where is it coming from? Where is the data coming from? Somewhere the database is saved. Somewhere there is a base, a huge, large repository of all student records. Records of all students of St. Montfort School. Okay, and from there only your teacher is able to post the attendance record on the group. Understood? So this large repository is known as what? Database. Database. Base, that is a large storehouse of data which stores data. Just like there are warehouses and godowns which stores large stacks of grains, or they store electronic items in bulk. Okay, so they are just stored there and kept for a later use. From there it would be taken to wholesale retailers, and then it would go to the shops, and then people would purchase them. Understood? So when it is stored somewhere, it forms a database, and that too with the sole purpose that somewhere in the near future it would be used. Understood? So that is known as a database. I'll take the attendance. Okay, I've taken the attendance. Yes, so that is a database. So data and base. Combine them, it forms a huge repository of data, which is collected on a daily basis. Data should be collected on a daily basis. I'll give you another example. You visit a hospital and there you need to provide your name. You have brought somebody to get admitted in the hospital. So what the operator would do, who is sitting at the reception, will simply give you a form. You will fill the form. Operator will take that and fill in all the necessary details. Okay. You want to seek admission into a school. Nowadays, most admissions are done online. So what happens the moment that admission, you open the website, you click on the link, a form appears. You fill in all the details and you click submit. The moment you click submit, what happens? Entire data gets saved or it transfers to the database. So every detail is saved over there. The same thing happens in our school also. Okay. So these days, why databases are needed? Because they provide a digital alternative. A digital alternative to storing data, also known as electronic data recording. Otherwise, what happened? You had to maintain large files, okay, stacks of files and files stacked in cabinets and cabinets and racks throughout, spreading throughout the room, and the person is just, if you need to look for a particular record, say 10 years old, you have to just cover through all those cabinets, hunt for the data, literally hunt for the data and spend hours on them, and still the data is not found. So much of hassle was there in olden days. Okay, and you had to do a lot of manual work. Just to reduce that manual labor, what came into existence? Digital record keeping system, which is known as database. Let us start with our topic. Introduction to Databases, Access 2010. This is your chapter 3. Why use databases? Used by company to store data of clients, employees, products, suppliers. Used by school to store data of students, faculty, employee, students' biodata, and so on. So you use this, and even academic performance. So databases can be used to store practically any type of data which needs to be collected on a daily basis and processed later on. Now you can see this image. What do you see in this image? Can anyone interpret this image?
That manual recording is very inconvenient.
He is totally exhausted. Might be possible he is looking for a particular record or a particular file through the cabinets, and it is just wearing him out. So previously it was difficult to manage data manually, had to be written or recorded manually. Management was difficult. Data repository was difficult with growth of organization. Report generation was time consuming. Hence, need for data collation with centralized control over data was needed. So what is a database? It is a collection of information that is organized so that it can be easily accessed, managed, updated, deleted. Accessed means data retrieval whenever you want. Suppose now the principal wants to know how many students were absent during the unit test. So how will the teachers find it out? They might have taken an attendance during the time when you had logged into the online meeting during the exam, or by the record that is in Google Forms, all your responses were there. So all of you had filled that column regarding entering full name, class, and section. So from there, the teacher had to manually check that which all students have not given the test. Had this done, now there are multiple ways of doing this. Okay, if now Microsoft Teams, now in Google Forms, what happens is we get, because we were using Google Forms and we were not using Microsoft Forms. So now the teachers would have to manually check it with the list of the students who all have not given the test. But if suppose there was a software which would easily figure out, okay, these students had given the test, fine. So it would just record it in this way. Suppose we create an online examination system where the attendance is taken based on responses submitted by students. So suppose this is your roll number column, this is your student column, and this is your attendance column. Now, roll number 1, suppose some student is there with the name Ayush, and the attendance, he has given the test, so it takes up P. Okay. Second roll number, whosoever it is, it takes up A. Third roll number, whosoever it is, it takes up P. Fourth roll number, present. Fifth roll number, absent. So now what happens? Just with a single click, there is a button which shows absentees. So the moment teacher clicks on this button, it shows the list of all those students who are absent. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And it will also print at the end total students absent. How many? 3 students were absent. So just with the click of a button, students, actually I won't tell you. Okay, this is a secret. Okay, so here you can easily create a software, a small software somewhere where this kind of an information can be gathered. Just click on this button and you get the number, how many absent, show present. Teacher just has to press this button and she will get a list of total present and say 50 students were present. Suppose the strength of the class is 53 and it will also give you a total strength over here, that is 53. So this is how the entire information is there. Even this list can not only be displayed, but it can be printed as a report also. And it could be submitted to the principal. So how is this made possible? That is because this particular front end which you are seeing, it is actually connected to a database in the background. तो डेटा आपका कहां से उठ के आ रहा है? डेटाबेस से उठ के आ रहा है. आपने एप्लीकेशन किस में बनाया है? फ्रंट एंड एप्लीकेशन में. फॉर एग्जांपल, you might be using ASP.NET, you might be using C#.NET, you might be using PHP, any programming language. You might have created it using Python. So you have created the front end using these languages and it is connected to database in the background. Okay, and from there the data is being retrieved. Understood? So this is how things happen. This is how work is done electronically, and it is very easy and it is accurate also. There is, until and unless your code is not incorrect. If your programming is correct, if you have done ample testing for your program will always give you the correct answer. Understood? Okay. Regarding this, I will show you a small animation which I have prepared. How a computer works. Okay, the animation is not completed, but I will still show that to you. It would be clear to you, right? I have created that animation using Powtoon, which is a free animation creating a website. And there, to go to my option. I'm going to show this to you. How a computer is a dumb machine. Okay. Meet my apprentice. Add a package of yeast. I can't find a package of yeast. The refrigerator is over there. Inside the refrigerator is a little package. Go get it. So he gets the package. Okay, this is the package. Now what? Put the package in the bowl. So he simply puts the package. And then the baker gets completely pissed off. That is, at least open the package and then put it in the bowl. So that is how a computer is. It is a dumb machine. Okay, computer doesn't understand anything. It is we who have to instruct the computer to follow the steps. Once I instruct everything, once I give everything to the computer, then now the computer would start doing the work accurately. The computer would work accurately and it will give me accurate results without any mistake. Okay, that animation is not complete yet, but just to give you an insight into how programs work, I showed it to you. Second one was managed. Managed means how you can manage your database. That is inserting new data, okay? Sometimes changing the format. If you want to insert a new column, inserting that. If you want to change the size of a column, doing that. Updations, changing any data. Somebody's address needs to be changed. Somebody's marks have to be upgraded. Okay, some record to be deleted. So all these options are, all these works are done by our database. So we keep the discussion till here. In the next class, we will discuss more related to databases. Stopping the share over here. Thank you, students.